Why do 70% of crime dramas start with a body? It's a question that has intrigued audiences and creators alike for decades. The answer lies in the primal human fascination with the unknown, the macabre, and the ultimate finality of death. A body is not just a lifeless form, it is a puzzle, a story waiting to be unraveled. It sets the stage for a journey into the darkest corners of human nature, where secrets are buried and truths are often stranger than fiction, because nothing grabs your attention like a mystery. The allure of the unknown pulls us in, compelling us to seek answers, to understand the how and why. It's a narrative hook that promises suspense, intrigue, and the satisfaction of solving a complex puzzle. In the quiet town of Pinewood, this fascination with mystery would soon become all too real. Let's dive into Pinewood Park's darkest secret. Nestled on the outskirts of town, Pinewood Park was a place of serene beauty by day, but as the sun dipped below the horizon, it transformed into a shadowy labyrinth. The towering trees, their branches like skeletal fingers, cast eerie silhouettes on the ground. The park's winding paths, often shrouded in mist, seemed to lead to another world, a world where the line between reality and nightmare blurred. It was a misty morning when a jogger found her. The fog hung thick in the air, muffling sounds and distorting shapes. The jogger, a local resident named Karen, was on her usual morning run. As she rounded a bend, she noticed something unusual, a shape on the ground, partially obscured by the fog. Her heart raced as she approached, the realization dawning on her that this was no ordinary morning. Emily Lawson's body, bruised and lifeless, lay hidden by the fog in Pinewood Park. Emily, a beloved teacher known for her kindness and dedication, was the last person anyone expected to meet such a tragic end. Her body, covered in bruises, told a story of violence and despair. The fog seemed to cling to her as if trying to keep her hidden from the world, but the truth would soon come to light. Detective Marcus Holt arrived, his instincts on high alert. This wasn't random, it was cold, calculated. Holt, a seasoned detective with a reputation for solving the toughest cases, knew immediately that this was no ordinary crime. The meticulous placement of the body, the lack of immediate evidence, it all pointed to a killer who knew exactly what they were doing. Holt's mind raced as he began to piece together the puzzle. Emily, a beloved teacher, had been missing for 3 days. Her disappearance had sent shockwaves through the community. Vigils were held, search parties organized, but all efforts had been in vain. Now, with her body discovered, the town's worst fears were confirmed. The question on everyone's mind was, who could have done this and why? Her death shook the small town to its core. Pinewood was a close-knit community where everyone knew each other. The news of Emily's death spread like wildfire, leaving a trail of grief and disbelief in its wake. Parents held their children a little tighter, neighbors looked at each other with suspicion, and the once peaceful town was now a place of fear and uncertainty. As Holt scanned the scene, a silver necklace on a nearby bench caught his eye. It was a delicate piece, the kind that held sentimental value. Holt carefully bagged it as evidence, his mind racing with possibilities. Who did it belong to? Was it a clue left by the killer or a piece of Emily's life that had somehow found its way here? The necklace would prove to be a crucial piece of the puzzle. It was personal. Holt could feel it in his gut. This wasn't a random act of violence, it was targeted, deliberate. Someone had wanted Emily dead, and they had gone to great lengths to ensure it. As Holt delved deeper into Emily's life, he discovered a web of relationships and secrets that painted a complex picture of the woman she was. Digging into Emily's life revealed no enemies, but secrets always lurk beneath the surface. On the outside, Emily seemed to have it all: a successful career, a loving circle of friends, and a bright future. But as Holt interviewed those closest to her, he began to uncover the cracks. There were whispers of a troubled relationship, of arguments and threats. The more he learned, the more he realized that Emily's life was far from perfect. Emily's rocky relationship with Paul Redford, a local businessman, came to light. Paul was well known in the community, a man of influence and charm, but behind closed doors, his relationship with Emily was anything but idyllic. Friends recalled heated arguments, moments of tension that hinted at deeper issues. Paul had a temper, and Emily had confided in a few close friends that she was afraid of him. Paul's calm demeanor during questioning felt rehearsed. Holt watched him closely, noting the way he carefully chose his words, the lack of genuine emotion. It was as if Paul had prepared for this moment, anticipating the questions and crafting his responses. But Holt had seen this before. Guilt often hid behind a mask of composure. Emily's friend Sarah revealed Emily planned to leave Paul. Paul's possessiveness scared her. Sarah's revelation was a turning point in the investigation. Emily had confided in her that she was planning to leave Paul, that his possessiveness had become unbearable. She had been making plans, saving money, and looking for a way out. This new information painted Paul in an even more sinister light. Holt's suspicions grew. The pieces were starting to fit together, but there were still gaps. Why had Paul killed Emily? Was it a crime of passion, or was there something more? Holt knew he needed concrete evidence to make an arrest, and he was determined to find it. Security footage showed a figure matching Paul entering the park. The grainy footage from a nearby security camera showed a figure entering the park on the night of Emily's disappearance. The figure's build and gait matched Paul's, but the footage was too blurry to be definitive. Still, it was enough to warrant further investigation. Confronted with the evidence, Paul's facade crumbled. Holt presented the footage to Paul, watching for any sign of a reaction. At first, Paul maintained his composure, but as Holt pressed him, the cracks began to show. Paul's confident demeanor gave way to nervousness, and finally, to panic. He confessed. Emily was leaving him, and in a fit of rage, he struck her. The confession came in a torrent of emotion. Paul admitted that he couldn't bear the thought of losing Emily, that his love had turned into an obsession. On the night of her death, they had argued, and in a moment of blind rage, he had struck her. The realization of what he had done had driven him to try and cover up the crime. As Paul was led away, the fog in Pinewood Park lifted, revealing the dark secret it once hid. The town of Pinewood could finally begin to heal, but the scars of Emily's death would linger. The park, once a place of beauty, had become a symbol of tragedy. As the fog lifted, the sun broke through, casting light on the shadows that had hidden the truth for so long. Detective Holt, ever vigilant, knew there was always another story lurking in the shadows. As he watched Paul being taken away, Holt couldn't shake the feeling that there were more secrets waiting to be uncovered. In his line of work, he had learned that every answer led to new questions, and every solved case was just one chapter in an ongoing story. Pinewood Park had given up one of its darkest secrets, but Holt knew that the shadows still held many more.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and like the video.